What's up, y'all? So today we're going to be doing a CVT filter and fluid change on this is a 2012 Altima, but this goes for 2007 through 2012, I believe. I'm pretty sure. So let's get to it. First off, today's the day after Christmas. My birthday's tomorrow. So I still have that. That's going to come off today or tomorrow. But I have the jack up under the main subframe, and I'm going to lift the car up off the ground. And you want the car to be pretty far up, so you have room to move around. All right, so this is where we're going to be working at. Come under the car on the driver's side. Here's the trans pan. Some models have the trans pan drain bolt. Mine happens to have it. If you don't have it, you have to skip straight to this method of taking off all the bolts instead of draining the fluid first. I'm lucky enough to have a drain bolt, so I will be able to drain all the fluid or most of the fluid out before I take this down, which will help a lot. So I'm gonna get to that. I'll cut the video here and come back in a second. Okay, so as far as tools and hardware, you're going to need a replacement filter, a funnel. You need 4.3 quarts. I have an extra left over from last time, and I always just buy 5 quarts when I change it, so I'll have extra for next time. So I have 6 quarts of this. I have a 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch socket, a 1/2 inch drive ratchet. I have a 10 millimeter 3/8 drive and 3/8 drive ratchet, as well as an impact fully charged and a 3/8 ratchet socket bit. That is all the tools we're going to need for this. Oh yeah, and a oil drain pan and a jack. So I come here and I will pull this transmission dipstick. This is oil, obviously. The transmission in these Nissans are gonna have a blue dot. So you're gonna have to come, there's a little clip back here. I kind of just wiggle it past that clip and pull it up. And, well, you don't have to pull it that far, just pull it like this to let it breathe for whenever we go to drain it. Come down here, get your 1/2 inch ratchet and socket, 3/4. You come under here, you get it onto your drain bolt, and break it loose. Once it's broke loose, make sure your pan's pretty directly under it. This stuff's gonna be hot, y'all, so. This stuff still looks good. It's just the filter's clogged. Time to change it again. Time to change the filter, and when you do that, you change the fluid too. You gotta do this every 50,000 miles on these things, on any CVT transmission. Cadillac, Nissan, any of them. And CVT fluid's usually yellow, but I've been finding that this Castrol Transmax red CVT it's been pretty good, and it's always on sale usually. So I like to sit here and let this drain for a minute. Let it all come out. So I'll cut it here and come back once it's all drained. Just to come back in and show you, I had to scoot the oil pan back because once it got low, the car is at an angle. It's you know, further back and it start dripping to the back. So I screwed the oil pan back, and I forgot to mention you might want to get some brake cleaner, some parts and brake cleaner, and some shop towels because that's gonna be messy. You don't want that. So let this drain for a few more minutes before I pull the pan. And don't worry, all the fluid's coming out of this because we're gonna drop this pan. So any fluid that's left in there, you know, is all gonna come down. So we'll come back to this in a second. Okay, so it's been a couple more minutes and it's still draining like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the plug back in and go to drop the pan. But first, you seen earlier, I just dropped the plug straight into the pan and it's hot fluid. So I got it out, but I laid it on a blue shop towel first. I'm gonna get some of my brake clean. I'm gonna spray it on there, flip it over, and you know, I'm gonna give it a little douse and rub it down first just to make it better to handle, you know? The guy doesn't want to get his hands off dirty if he can avoid it, you know? It's always more difficult to do things one-handed, but once those threads hit, it should stop leaking down. Okay, so I'm not sure what happened, but had some video errors going on. So I left off, I put the plug back in and I tightened it down with the 3/4 1/2 inch. Then I took this and I drained more than half of it out because it was almost full. And I had previous fluid in there, so that's why it got almost full. So I'm going to grab my 10mm. I decided to put the 3/8 10mm on a impact, and I'm going to use a 1/4 inch 10mm all around to break them loose. My 3/8 ratchet decided it didn't want to work today, of course. So 1 second, I'll cut to that. Okay, so I have the camera set up so hopefully you can see this whole trans pan, and I'm gonna start back here. I have this oil pan towards the back, and I'm gonna start back there because the car's at an angle, and so that's where the residual fluid is sitting right here. But you see, you hear it, hollow versus it's got some fluid in there. So let me grab my ratchet wrench and my impact. I like to start over here. Well, I already explained it. I guess these aren't tins. Got an 11 on there. My 10 was in the wrong spot. Better hope my 10's still in there. I'll be right back. naturally. It's not in its spot, and I don't feel like looking for it right this second, so I just grab my deep socket. And you just come and I just break them loose. When you put them on, well, it doesn't matter what order you break them loose in, really. I like to do the corners first and then come along the edges. But when you put it on, it matters. You gotta go like in a cross X pattern across the whole pan. Make sure that gasket seals down properly. This is my first time doing this. I did this not too long ago, honestly. The car was sitting for a while, so I just did a full tune-up on it. And, well, it's time to do it again. And I guess like they know that you have to do this frequently, at least frequently enough. So like the price of the filter is like $18.99 over here, plus tax, you know. It comes with a gasket. Can't beat that. Where it gets me is the freaking price of the fluid is always the make or break factor, I guess you can say. You don't want to lose any of these. And I believe there's like one or two of them that are longer than the rest. And I believe I marked up the pan on the ones that are longer. I don't remember. I've done a lot to this car, a lot of work. Also a lot of different cars. So it might have been my Honda. Yep, and there it goes. It's starting to the residual. And like, no, there's no particular pattern that I recommend doing this in, but it doesn't hurt going left to right all the way down. And then once you get to the last, I work from the middle out, just so that way nothing gets warped or bent from weights. Oh yeah, it's coming out now. I'm gonna put one of these back in over here. Support it a little better. Let all that come out. 'Cause I don't feel like cleaning up no trans fluid off of no concrete. That's just me. I just had to go buy cat litter the other day. And they won't always come off as easy as that. But like I said, I did this recently, so it kind of came down pretty, you know, on its own. But you'll have to sometimes get like a screwdriver or a mudding knife or something thin, metal, and hard and flat in order to get these down. Alright, so this pan, oh, there's one more. Alright, this pan is now free, as well as this gasket. And there's the filter. I'm getting some trains on the concrete. Looks like I'm gonna have to clean it up anyway. So I let that just drip for a while. Looks good. And no, I was wrong. All the bolts are the same size on the pan. Looks good. Get you under here and get you a better view of this in a second. This gasket up here. It's full of fluid anyway. Yep, I got some concrete work to do. Some cleaning up after this job's done. But there is the CVT transmission, and that is west at bottom of it, and this is what we are changing, the filter. And there's just 3 bolts, 3 10mm. It comes down, put a new one in, put the pan back on with the gasket, and I'll put the car down and then fill it up with fluid, 4.3 quarts. Check the level, start it up, check the level again. Would let it get hot, check the level again. Make sure there's no leaks in the process. And yes sir. I'm gonna let that finish doing its thing, and then I'll come back whenever I go to pull it down. Okay, so I struggled with how to set the camera up for a fat minute. So this is what y'all get. This is the angle y'all get. I hope it's good. So this is where they're tight, because you had to tighten these out, obviously. You don't want those to go anywhere. And then I'm also using a 1/4 inch. And this is where you get messy, because you're touching fluids. Bam. Got those broke loose. I'm also gonna continue to use a socket and ratchet wrench for this section, this portion, throughout. And I'll just brake clean my tools after. So I like to try to keep the screws in the order that they came out. Short one in the top, if you're looking from the front of the car towards the back, at the front left, there's that screw, bolts, whatever you want to call it. And more fluid's going to come out once you take this thing out. So just be ready for that fluid to come down. Long bolt in the top right corner, and in the back corner, I believe it's another long bolt. I'm not sure. Might be a short guy. Is it a short guy or a medium guy, or it's another short guy? So that goes in the bottom right, back right. And this, yep. Filter didn't look too bad, but never hurts to change the thing. Let's see if I can clean my hands and get y'all guys a look up inside of that hole. Because it's going to be another 50,000 miles before I pull it down. I might or might not do another video on it. See if I can get you inside of that hole. Let's see. A look inside of a CVT. I never personally stuck my head under there, but I guess I'll get to see it whenever I play back the video. Alright. So now that we've done that, we come out here. Get your new gasket and your new filter out, ready to go. You can compare the gaskets, but I know that's the right one personally. Sweet, I just got an email that my Craftsman wrench, the warranty got shipped. Now you notice the color difference between these two filters? This one done been used. It done been heated up and cooled down, and you can see the difference in color. The inside looks better too, I ain't gonna lie to you. I had a bag flying away. Alright, so this is what I do. Let me come back up under here and set this thing up. Oh, my phone about to come out of the... That might help to push it in, you think? I'm sorry, y'all, ahead of time for how bad this video is gonna come out, but hey, I'm doing it with what I got. So, it'll be fine either way. So, I come... I get my new filter. There's one circle side, one square side. The square goes to the bottom, circle goes in the hole. You kind of gotta, it'll kind of like snap. You'll feel it. And get my bolts and put them back. Don't snug them up yet because, well, I mean you can if you want, but we still gotta go clean the pan. Forget it, I'll snug it up. Just so I won't forget later. You know, never hurts. Never hurt nobody. And then this one, grab my ratchet wrench, turn it to tighten. And you also want to go in a cross pattern with these, so that way it seals properly. Make sure it's not gonna move or go nowhere. 1, 2, 1, 2. Finish tightening this one down. Cool. Cool. Now that's in there. Set your greasy ratchet wrench down. Grab you some shop towels and come up out the car to clean the pan.
What you doing?
Okay, so this is where it gets fun, in my opinion. I'm gonna do this hose. That'd be smart. All right. So these are two magnets. This is where you want to make sure everything stays clean, because this is gonna seal in all the fluid into your trans. That might be bad, but it's probably not. So clean my hands. All right. I know that's environmentally unsafe or whatever. Yeah, roast me in the comments. I don't care. You think the internet is gonna make me like care about what you say? Or I don't know you, dude. Even if I did, I still wouldn't care. And don't worry, we're gonna freaking dry all this. It's metal. It's okay. It's going in the car. I'm just getting it clean enough to put it inside of the kitchen sink. Get a little bit more of this brake cleaner. Give it some love, you know? Don't be shy. Want some love? All right, come over here, cut your water off. I'll see you in the kitchen. Okay, so let's see, turn the light on. This is where we are in the kitchen. Get a bunch of Dawn. I get that good stuff. No, you're not gonna use this sponge. I'm just gonna put a little water in there. Clean it real good with my hands first. And then a paper towel. And then I'm gonna dry it. So, see you in a second. Actually, I'd like to see what I can record. See if I can record the cleaning process. Soapy water does the trick. Get your magnets up in there. You want to clean them really good. Everything off of here. Sorry, you're seeing dirty dishes and stuff. Oh well, you get the memo. Bam. There you have a nice, clean trans pan. You have to dry. Make sure you dry that fully, 100% dry. I'll cut back to it once it is. Okay, so your pan's all dry and clean and fresh and new, ready to go. So there's these two little bubbles in the pan, and that's where these magnets they live. Take this. Oh, I missed a spot right there. All right, it's ready to go. I'll see you outside. Okay, so we're back in our driveway. Got our clean trans pan, and now we're about to put on our gasket. This is what I do to make it easy. Honest to God. I just line it up on the pan like this before I stick it. Make sure all the holes line up. Hard to do one-handed, but you get the memo. I'll cut this here and cut back to whenever I'm under the car about to put it in. I mean, I got the camera back under the car. Y'all can kind of see me and what I'm doing. And this gasket happens to be marked. It lets you know what side it's left and right. It says left, L for left, and R for right. But I mean, the gasket only goes on there one way. I'll grab like a bolt for each corner just to kind of hold it in place while I put this pan up. Come under here. And take a little look at everything. Make sure it all looks right. I remember tightening back the filter bolts, but you can double check that if you want. And you just grab these two bolts and use it as like a lineup to get your pan back in its home. Got those threads started. Got those threads started. Bam. You should be able to let go of it like that. You want to come around and feel and make sure your gasket's not sticking out anywhere. Make sure all your holes line up for all your bolts. And then, you know, where's my ratchet wrench? There it is. Just make sure that. I forget to mention, I think I did earlier, but you want to tighten this thing down in a cross pattern so that way it seals down that gasket just right. So you can move this pan out of your way at this point. Give yourself more room. Just waiting for it to get snug on there for now. Then we're gonna come back and torque them all down, or torque them down. You should torque them, but I don't have a torque wrench. I do feel like taking it out. I've used a torque wrench like twice in my life, and nothing bad has happened yet. So knock on wood for me though, you guys. And you see, look, bang, I messed up. All right, well, I didn't mess up, but I see a spot that can be corrected already on this gasket. So you want to make sure you really get under here and really check out what's going on before you just send it. All right, so I'm gonna take this back down for a second and figure out. See, that was the gasket wasn't even lined up. Like I said, just double check, triple check, go back, and you know, before you make it final, just to save yourself hassle in the future. Just like what they say, measure twice, cut once, measure 10 times, cut once, whatever you hear. It's true. And be prepared for your arms to get tired quick. Everything else looks good. Got this in here, and so far so good. Let's see. Give myself a little readjustment on angles here. Maybe help my arm rest a bit. Notice I'm not like, I'm just snugging them. Let's see what we got going on back here. And you just adjust it over while it's still loose. Yep, cool, like a charm. Two in. I won't tighten that one though. Just put threads in. Right here. Here. This one needs to be tightened. Over here. And this is where having an impact really makes the time go by faster. Make it go by the whole job. Give yourself an arm break if you need it. Very last one. All right, then you get your ratchet. Two, three, four. Alright. One, two. Ooh. I hope that's just ambulance. All right. Now, once you think you have all of them tight, go back and make sure, because I just did, and this one wasn't. All right. I'll see you on top of the car. Now that we have the car on the ground, I have the jack on the frame with tension ready to pump the car up in case we need to. You take your dipstick out from where we pulled it out earlier at the beginning of all this. Pick that up in a minute. Just don't want to fly away in the wind. You take your funnel and you stick it in your dipstick hole. That's the way you fill these ones. For some reason, and it needs 4.3 quarts. So I like to just, I'll pour the first quart in. And while it's emptying itself out, usually I'm able to balance it. But I'll just come under the car and I'll look, see if anything's leaking, dripping. So far, so good. So, that's 1 quart. Another quart, need 4.3 quarts. Quart number 2 going down the hatch. Move on to your 3rd quart. All right. So that's 3 quarts down. Quart number 4. And I only want to do a 0.3. So you still need, we'll probably use the 750 mark. Perfect. Let that finish doing its thing. You know, and start picking up your mess while you wait for that. Back under here. You know, look for leaks and drips. I don't see any so far. So I'll come and I'll start the trans. I'll start the car and keep looking for leaks and stuff. Check the fluid level and call it good to go. So that's how you do a CVT filter and fluid change on a 2007 to 2013, 12 Nissan Altima. Peace.